In the depths of Germany's Eifel region, nestled amidst rolling hills and dense forests, lay the Rhine Valley. In the 12th century, this valley echoed with the chime of bells. Not just any bells, but those of the Benedictine Abbey of Disse-Bodenberg, a place that became the cradle of an extraordinary woman's journey. Her name was Hildegard von Bingen. By day, she diligently copied manuscripts, her quill scratching across parchment in the scriptorium. But as twilight painted the sky in hues of purple, and the quiet hum of the abbey filled the air, she would steal away to her cell. There, hidden from the prying eyes of the world, she began to write down her visions. Her words flowing onto the page as she relived vivid dreams that had shaken her very core. These weren't ordinary dreams, they were divine revelations, breathtakingly beautiful, sometimes terrifying, always profound. She saw mystical creatures, celestial beings, and most importantly, she heard the word. Clear and unwavering, instructing her to write it down for all to see. Hildegard wasn't just a writer or a nun. She was a visionary, a seer, a composer, and later a doctor. Over the course of her life, she wrote 3 major works based on these divine visions, each more expansive than the last. But how did her fellow monks react when they first read her words? Did they embrace her visions with open arms? Or did they dismiss them as flights of fancy? Let's delve into the past and find out. The year is 1482. You find yourself in Italy, specifically in the ancient city of Mantua. Scholars have gathered from far and wide to discuss and debate various topics of academic interest. Among them is a young monk named Niccolò di Nicolai. He is not your typical monk. Niccolò has a thirst for knowledge that drives him to question, to explore, and to ponder the mysteries of the universe. One day, while poring over a peculiar manuscript, he stumbles upon something that baffles him completely. The book doesn't seem to have any ink or paint. It's devoid of letters or words, and yet it's undeniably a book. Intrigued and confused, he shows it to his fellow scholars, hoping someone can shed light on this enigma. But they too are left scratching their heads. This strange book becomes a topic of heated debates, with scholars arguing about its purpose, its meaning, and even its authenticity. Some believe it to be a hoax, while others see it as a cryptic message from another realm. Little do they know, they're examining more than just a book. They're holding a portal to a world unseen, a world that speaks in a language beyond their understanding. They are looking at what would come to be known as the Voynich manuscript, a mysterious text written in a script that has never been deciphered. Despite centuries of effort by some of the brightest minds, its secrets remain tightly held. As centuries passed, the book's origins and purpose became shrouded in myth and speculation. Some say it was a secret code created by alchemists, while others claim it holds the key to interdimensional travel. But the truth remains tantalizingly out of reach. Now, let us shift our focus to the majestic halls of the bishop's palace in the heart of Mainz. The year is 1179, and the palace is bustling with activity. Servants bustle about, preparing sumptuous meals for the upcoming feast. Bakers haul trays of fresh bread and pastries from their ovens. Cooks stir bubbling pots filled with exotic spices and meats. The air is thick with the aroma of roasting boar and spiced wine. A steady stream of guests arrives, each eager to catch a glimpse of the opulence that awaits them. Among them are members of the clergy, local nobles, and visiting dignitaries. As they make their way through the grand entrance, they are greeted by a sight that takes their breath away. Before them stretches a banquet table groaning under the weight of food fit for a king. Goblets of wine sparkle like jewels, platters of roasted meats tempt the eye, and baskets overflowing with fresh fruit add a touch of sweetness to the feast. It is a celebration of abundance, a testament to the wealth and power of the bishop who sits at its head. Yet amidst this revelry, whispers of dissent begin to circulate. Some murmur about the extravagance of the display, questioning the need for such lavish spending in a world where many go hungry. Others speak in hushed tones about the political alliances being forged and broken over goblets of wine and plates of roasted boar. As the feast progresses, the conversation grows louder, the laughter more boisterous. Jokes are cracked, stories are told, and alliances are made. The hall echoes with the sound of merriment, the clinking of glasses, and the murmur of voices engaged in animated discussions. Yet beneath the surface gaiety, tensions rise. Rivals exchange pointed glances, Whispers of heresy and betrayal become bolder, and the seeds of discontent are sown. The atmosphere shifts, the merriment subsides, and the weight of unspoken truths hangs heavy in the air. It's a reminder that even in the midst of plenty, shadows lurk, waiting to cast their darkness on the brightest of feasts. Now let's move on to the scriptorium, a room inside a monastery where monks meticulously copied ancient texts. Imagine the year is 1165, and you are one of the few individuals granted access to this sacred space. The room is dimly lit, with sunlight streaming through narrow windows that cast long shadows across the stone floor. The air is thick with the scent of parchment and ink. You notice rows upon rows of bookshelves lining the walls, each one containing countless scrolls and manuscripts, some dating back to a time when the world was very different. In the center of the room, several monks are hunched over their desks, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of oil lamps. They are engrossed in their work, carefully copying ancient texts by hand. Their quills scratch across the parchment, creating a soothing rhythm that fills the room. Each stroke of the quill is precise and deliberate, ensuring that every letter is formed perfectly. The monks take great pride in their work, knowing that they are preserving ancient knowledge for future generations. But suddenly, the door to the scriptorium opens, and a young monk enters, his face flushed and his eyes wide with excitement. He approaches the senior monks, his voice trembling with urgency as he delivers an important message. The senior monks confer in hushed tones, their faces etched with concern. After a few moments, one of them nods his head, and the young monk is sent back with instructions. Moments later, he returns, leading you to a small alcove at the far end of the room. Here, bathed in the soft glow of an oil lamp, is a desk with a single scroll laid out upon it. The scroll is covered in elegant script, and as you reach out to touch it, you feel a sense of awe and reverence wash over you. In your hands, you hold a piece of history, a tangible link to the past that whispers tales of a world long gone. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to show your support. Your engagement fuels our creativity, allowing us to transport you to more historical realms. Stay tuned for more captivating episodes of Boring History for Sleep, and until then, may your nights be filled with peaceful journeys through time. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Boring History for Sleep. If you found this experience relaxing and informative, we invite you to subscribe and become part of our community. Your support allows us to continue creating immersive historical journeys designed to lull you into peaceful slumber. Each episode is a unique adventure, transporting you to a different era with its own captivating stories and ambient soundscapes. We take you back to ancient Rome, medieval monasteries, Renaissance Italy, and many more fascinating periods. So if you're ready to embark on more relaxing historical adventures, hit that subscribe button and join us for more episodes of Boring History for Sleep. The year is 1098, and you find yourself standing before the gate of a Benedictine monastery. Its solid oak door set into ancient stone. This is Eberbach Abbey in Germany, home to around 200 monks and nuns. Your business here is spiritual, but you are not a holy person. You're a young woman, barely 16 years old, named Hildegard von Bingen. The future abbess stands before you, and the vision you have of the world will change forever. But first, our series producer needs your help. We want to bring history to more people like you, but to do that, we need your support. If you can help us out, we'd love to tell more stories about amazing women in history. So head to our support page now. Now back to Hildegard. The gate opens slowly, and you pass within. The scent of herbs and turning earth greets you. Is that the tinkling of a fountain? You've heard tales of these places. Are they true? You were raised to be a nun, destined for religious life, but you know little of what awaits you within these high walls. A novice, then, you begin your training under the rule of Saint Benedict. Soon you will be assigned tasks, a job to fill each waking hour. But for now, as the gate closes behind you, you stand in the outer courtyard. The rhythms of monastic life already beginning to surround you. You are part of a larger picture. Across Europe, these houses of worship are growing in number. Monasteries provide sanctuary for those seeking God, solace from the storms of the outside world. They serve as anchors in a sea of change, a time known as the High Middle Ages. Between the 11th and 13th centuries, a flourishing of new ideas takes place. Gothic cathedrals soar skyward, scholastic philosophy examines faith and reason, and great universities open their doors to scholars. Yet amidst this intellectual ferment, monasteries remain constant. The next few years pass in a steady routine. Hours are set aside for prayer, work, food, and sleep. With duties assigned, your life is orderly, almost regimented. But why is this important? For our young Hildegard, she learns much during these years, not only about God and the scriptures, but about herself. And while life as a novice might seem unremarkable, it becomes the foundation of a remarkable journey. As Hildegard grows older, she takes on more responsibility, eventually becoming the abbess of a small convent in Disibodenberg. Now you are in charge, as the weight of leadership settles upon you. What will you do? Monastic life has been disrupted. The church in Rome is embroiled in controversy. A reform movement seeks to strengthen vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Hildegard's convent faces the choice to participate or resist. While others debate, you decide to follow your instincts, guiding your convent to join the reform movement. Years pass, and you make a fateful trip to see the abbot of the nearby Eberbach Monastery, where you once entered as a novice. He is well known for his staunch views, a man of strictures and schedules, but something about you impresses him, for he asks you to lead a group of nuns there, taking them under your spiritual wing. You will shape their lives. This is your legacy, Hildegard. Now abbess of the newly established monastery in Rupertsberg, finds herself leading a double life. The medieval world is strictly compartmentalized. Women's roles are limited, their access to education restricted, and heresy can mean imprisonment or worse. Yet you are a woman of letters, deeply involved in theological studies. You're also a visionary, having regular visions which fill you with awe and sometimes fear. As Hildegard struggles to balance duty and calling, her health suffers. But despite illness, she travels throughout Germany, visiting monasteries and preaching reforms to a listening audience. Here is a sampling of some of her teachings. The light of eternal life comes forth from the source of all goodness. It proceeds from divine charity and floods the whole creation. How does this teaching reflect monastic ideals? Heresies, such as those of Abelard, shook the church. His teachings challenged traditional theology, and he faced opposition. Hildegard, too, had enemies. Her visions were seen as controversial. Scholars of the time struggled to understand her experiences, yet she continued to preach, showing courage and conviction. Hildegard's sermons and writings were prolific. She covered many topics, including morality, natural philosophy, and the pursuit of wisdom. Among her works are key texts like Civia's Liber Divinorum Operum and Liber Vita Meritorum. They reveal her intellect, her piety, and her unwavering commitment to the church. Her literary output was vast, comprising over 70 books and thousands of pages. It included theological treatises, poetic works, and letters. Themes of morality, contemplation, divine service, and salvation run through her works. Despite being a woman, Hildegard wrote extensively. While other women mostly served as scribes, copying manuscripts, Hildegard composed, corrected, and dictated. She broke boundaries, becoming one of the first composers of liturgical drama. Her works combined text and music, a rarity for the time. In her later years, Hildegard became a force in church affairs. She attended important councils and was consulted by popes and bishops. Her input on issues of doctrine and reform was highly regarded, an extraordinary achievement for a woman. However, she never lost sight of her roots. She wrote to remind her followers of the importance of daily life. Be fervent in your work, dear children, and do not neglect the practice of good works. Let your deeds be proofs of devotion, your conduct a reflection of faith. Hildegard's impact on monastic life was profound. She reformed convents, redefining their role in society. She promoted a stricter adherence to the Benedictine rule and encouraged engagement in agriculture and education. Her emphasis on service made monasteries centers of community life. Furthermore, she emphasized the link between faith and nature. She was an early advocate for understanding the natural world, a perspective that foreshadowed modern environmentalism. And now, you enter a different kind of enclosed space, a quiet room in a bustling abbey. Sunlight streams through a high window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. On a desk sits a quill pen, ink bottle, and parchment, waiting for your touch. Around you, the sounds of monastic life fade to a murmur. It is here that Hildegard composes, writes, teaches, corrects, dictates. In this haven of solitude, your words take shape, becoming powerful expressions of faith and intellect. Through your writing, you share your visions, shaping religious thought. At the same time, your influence extends beyond these hallowed walls. You advise popes and bishops, leaving an indelible mark on church teachings. History remembers you as a reformer, a writer, a visionary. But in this quiet room, you are simply Hildegard, finding solace in the rhythm of words. As Hildegard's life draws to a close, she leaves behind a rich legacy. Her writings, including the influential Civias, continue to inspire theologians. Her compositions enrich church music. Her emphasis on education and service transforms monasteries into vibrant centers of learning and charity. Though she is gone, her influence lives on, resonating through the corridors of time. Now let's talk about sources. Where did the details come from? Primary sources like Hildegard's writings, letters, and theological treatises provide direct insights into her life and teachings. Historical accounts from contemporaries offer glimpses into the social and political contexts of her time. Her legacy is evident in secondary sources, including biographies, theological studies, and analyses of her impact on religious orders and women's roles in the church. Archives and museums preserve artifacts associated with Hildegard, such as manuscripts containing her works, which offer tangible connections to her era. Researching Hildegard's life requires navigating language barriers and deciphering historical terminology. For example, understanding medieval terms like abbess or scriptorium adds depth to our comprehension of her role in daily life. Additionally, exploring the historical setting, including the Benedictine rule and contemporary social norms, reveals the challenges and opportunities of Hildegard's time. And finally, we're curious about you. What aspect of Hildegard's life or monastic life fascinated you the most? Was it her teachings, her compositions, or the glimpse into medieval monastic routines? Share your thoughts. Remember, history unfolds with every click of the mouse. Dive deeper into our archives and uncover more stories that bring the past to life. Thanks for joining us today. The air grows cooler, shadows stretch longer. Twilight deepens into night. Inside the dimly lit scriptorium, a monk's quill scratches across parchment, each stroke a whispered word in the hushed hall of learning. Here amidst the scent of ink and leather, knowledge is power. It's a place where tales are crafted, histories inscribed, and mysteries born. You can almost hear the rustle of turning pages, the murmur of scholars, the scratching of quills. It's here that stories that will captivate hearts and minds are written. This is our scriptorium, and now we invite you to join us. Allow your curiosity to guide you, your wonder to lead you, and your imagination to soar. Here within these ancient walls, adventure awaits in every script. Discovery in every illustration, and magic in every turn of the page. So come, dear viewer, step into the scriptorium and let the tales unfold. Let your journey through the written word begin. And now to the Book of Kells and the Book of Duro, two treasures whose beauty echoes through the centuries. Wow! You might have heard their names whispered among lovers of old tales and lore. Now it's time to see what makes them so enchanting. Let's start with the Book of Kells. Imagine this. The year is around 650 AD, and you find yourself on the rugged Irish coast. Wild waves crash against the shore, wind whispers through the tall grasses, and seabirds call overhead. Tucked away in a secluded monastery on the remote island of Iona stands a humble stone cell. It's here in this sanctuary that a community of monks devoted their lives to prayer and scholarship, finding solace from the turbulent world outside. Among them are master scribes who toiled with quill and ink, breathing life into ancient texts. Their mission to preserve the scriptures, but also to adorn them with such beauty that each page becomes a masterpiece. And so they decorated the Gospels, transforming them into what we now call the Book of Kells. Open the covers and behold. Vivid colors leap from the page, intricate designs entwine, and mythical creatures dance around words. The Celtic style flourishes, characterized by spirals, knots, and zoomorphic forms. These monks wove their faith, their heritage, and their artistry into every stroke, creating an illuminated masterpiece. Scholars believe four main artists worked on the Book of Kells: but hundreds of hands may have contributed over the centuries. Look closely at the illustrations, the detailed portraits of Christ, apostles, and saints, the symbolic representations of the four evangelists, and the breathtaking depiction of the Tree of Life. Each artwork tells a story, conveying religious narratives and moral teachings in vivid detail. This book is not just a collection of words, it's a visual symphony. And as you trace its ornate borders, you can feel the devotion and skill of the monks who brought these timeless tales to life. Now let's shift our gaze to the neighboring island of Ireland. There, amid rolling hills and ancient ruins, lies the Book of Durrow. Its creation dates back to around 700 AD, when Columba, revered missionary, arrived in Ireland with a mission to spread Christianity. He established a monastic settlement at Durrow, and inspired by his zeal, monks gathered to translate Latin texts into the Irish language. Among their sacred works was the New Testament. And to honor this biblical narrative, they painstakingly decorated it with illustrations. Today we stand before the masterpiece of their efforts, the magnificent Gospel of Durrow. Like the Book of Kells, this Gospel is adorned with exquisite artwork. The full-page illustrations captivate with their intricate details. Notice the delicate rendering of the Virgin Mary cradling the child Jesus, the expressive portrait of Christ, and the awe-inspiring image of the crucifixion. These drawings not only depict biblical scenes, but also encapsulate the essence of Christian faith and devotion. But it's in the smaller intricacies where the brilliance of Hiberno-Saxon art truly shines. Admire the elegant interlacements, the graceful animal motifs, and the charming human figures that adorn the borders. Each design element harmoniously blends religious symbolism with the artistic genius of the Saxon era. But why did they make these illustrations? Why wasn't the text alone enough? Well, think back to the time in which these books were made. Literacy was rare, and people were primarily oral learners. Vivid images helped to convey the stories and teachings, making them more memorable and impactful. These illustrations weren't just decorative, they were essential to understanding and preserving the scriptures. In fact, this practice of adding art to religious texts became known as illumination, a term that continues to inspire awe and wonder today. But don't just stand there admiring the beauty. Pick up the Book of Kells and the Book of Durrow, trace the lines, and feel the emotions depicted in each stroke. Let their artistry transport you to another time, allowing you to experience the devotion, skill, and the storytelling brilliance of the monks of Kells and Durrow. Now imagine yourself seated at a wooden table inside a dimly lit study. The stone walls are lined with shelves, and on one of them rests a book unlike any other. Its cover is worn, its pages thick, and when you open it, the writing within does not belong to any language you know. The letters curl and stretch in unfamiliar shapes, like a script from another world. This is the Voynich manuscript. The manuscript is named after Wilfrid Voynich, Polish book dealer who purchased it in 1912, but the book itself is far older. Believed to have been created sometime in the early 15th century, its origins are shrouded in mystery. No one knows who wrote it, why, or even in what language or codite it was written. Turn the pages in your mind. On each, there are strange illustrations, some show plants that do not quite resemble any species we know. Their stems curve strangely, their blossoms take unfamiliar forms. It is as though they belong to a garden that exists in dreams rather than in the earth. Their pages are filled with circular diagrams, almost like star charts or cosmological maps. Rings within rings, stars scattered like seeds, tiny suns and moons orbiting mysterious spheres. Imagine how medieval eyes might have lingered on these shapes, searching for meaning, perhaps seeing reflections of the heavens. And then there are the human figures, small, almost childlike, often shown bathing in pools or flowing through pipes of water. Their placement seems ritualistic or medical, though no one can say for sure. Some scholars suggest the book was a compendium of herbal medicine, or perhaps alchemy. Others believe it was a hoax, an elaborate trick designed to confound or impress. The text itself flows smoothly, line after line, as if the author wrote in a natural tongue, yet every attempt to decode it has failed. Linguists, cryptographers, even modern computer algorithms have tried to unravel its patterns. It has been compared to Latin, to Hebrew, to Asian scripts, to code and cipher. But no translation has ever held. The words remain silent, unreadable. Imagine yourself studying it by candlelight, page after page, your eyes searching for patterns. The repetition of shapes, the rhythm of the text there is an order there, a structure. It feels like a real language, not random scribbles. And yet every attempt to unlock it dissolves into confusion. The manuscript has passed through many hands. At one point, it was owned by the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II, who was fascinated by alchemy and paid great sums for strange books. Later, it found its way to Jesuit libraries, where it was tucked away and forgotten until Voynich uncovered it. Since then, it has traveled through universities, studied and puzzled over by generations of scholars. What makes the Voynich manuscript so compelling is not simply that it is undeciphered, but that it invites the imagination. Is it a lost language? A code to protect secret knowledge? Or a creation meant to bewilder, to suggest wisdom without ever revealing it? Picture the parchment beneath your fingertips, the faint smell of old vellum, the gentle crackle of its fibers as you turn a page. Picture the vivid inks, still bright after centuries, greens, blues, deep browns. Someone long ago devoted countless hours to shaping these words and images. Their purpose remains hidden, but their effort is undeniable. The manuscript rests today in the Bioniki Rare Book Library at Yale University. Kept in a climate-controlled vault, its mystery is preserved. Digital scans allow us to see its pages, but the silence of its language remains unbroken. There is a quiet comfort in the unknowable. In the way some mysteries resist every attempt at solution, the Voynich manuscript is one such mystery. It whispers across centuries without yielding its secrets, leaving us only with the beauty of its strangeness. And so, as we close this enigmatic book, we step away from its dreamlike pages. The candle gutters low, the script fades back into shadow. From the austerity of monastic life, to the visions of Hildegard, to the undeciphered manuscript, our journey now carries us to another side of medieval life. One that stands in stark contrast. The long tables of bishops, laden with food, where the silence of the cloister gave way to abundance and politics. But before we take our seat at those banquets, pause for a moment. Breathe deeply. Hear the silence after the turning of a page. And now, let us move toward the feast. The sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the lawn. In the distance, the mountains seem to touch the sky. This is your moment of quiet reflection at the end of our journey through time. As the daylight fades, let's take a moment to look back at everything we've discovered together. We began our journey deep within the heart of a monastery, where the scent of incense mingled with the quiet rustle of habits. It was here, in the hushed chambers and echoing cloisters, that we learned about the rhythms of monastic life, the long hours of prayer, the disciplined routines, the dedication to a life of service. We met Brother Thomas, our guide through the intricacies of monastic tradition, and he showed us how every action, every word, was infused with meaning and purpose. From the manual labor of the fields to the spiritual solace of the scriptorium, we saw how monks found holiness in the ordinary. We traced the path of creation as Brother Anselm meticulously copied manuscripts, preserving ancient wisdom for future generations. We learned that these weren't mere books, they were tangible links to the past, each page a testament to human ingenuity and divine inspiration. But our journey took an unexpected turn when we stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Within its shadowy depths lay the tomb of Hildegard, a young novice whose story unfolded through her haunting song. Her voice echoed through the corridors of time, telling tales of love, loss, and longing. Through her music, we glimpsed the human heart beating beneath the surface of religious devotion. And as we listened, we realized that even in the most austere of settings, emotions resonated, stories waited to be told. Our path then led us to the labyrinthine shelves of the scriptorium. Amidst the towering piles of ancient texts, we found an enigma that defied easy answers, the Voynich manuscript. Its pages held a secret code, a visual language that teased us with its mysteries. As we pored over its strange diagrams and illustrations, we felt the weight of centuries pressing down on us, connecting us to scholars who had grappled with the book's secrets in ages past. Though we may never fully decipher its meaning, our encounter with the Voynich manuscript reminded us of the boundless curiosity that drives humanity forward. From the contemplative world of the monastery, we were suddenly thrust into a realm of power and plenty, the hall of a bishop's palace. The atmosphere shifted from the hushed reverence of the cloister to the vibrant energy of a bustling court. Gone were the simple robes of the monks, replaced by the rich velvets and heavy brocades of noble attire. Our ears, attuned to the quiet murmur of prayers, were now filled with the lively chatter of courtiers and the clink of goblets. We feasted alongside lords and ladies, experiencing firsthand the lavishness of medieval cuisine. Roasted meats, steaming stews, and freshly baked breads transformed the long banquet table into a battlefield, where flavors clashed and palates were tantalized. Sweetmeats and spiced wines added their decadent touch, turning each meal into a celebration. Yet even amidst this opulence, we found echoes of the simplicity we had known in the monastery. The daily gospel reading reminded us of the spiritual foundations of medieval life, and we saw how religious themes found expression in the very design of the hall, weaving faith into the fabric of everyday existence. At the heart of the banquet, we encountered the bishop, a figure who embodied the fusion of spiritual authority and temporal power. He was both a servant of God and a leader of men, presiding over his table not just as a host, but as a symbol of the church's vast influence. His table, laden with delicacies, was a canvas on which he painted his allegiances and rivalries, each dish a brushstroke in the grand design of medieval politics. Through it all, we listened intently to the conversations around us, eager to catch every word that revealed the intricacies of medieval life. We learned that a shared meal was more than just a consumption of food. It was a performance, a carefully choreographed dance of etiquette and diplomacy. A refusal to eat certain foods could be a subtle display of piety, an extra helping presented not just as an offer of generosity, but as a strategic way of showing favor. Every gesture, every bite carried layers of meaning, weaving together faith, politics, and social customs into an intricate tapestry. As the banquets continued day after day, we delved deeper into the world of medieval feasting. We discovered that meals weren't just about sustenance or strategy. They were a celebration of life itself. Seasonal changes found their place on the table, from spring lamb to autumn game. Special occasions brought their own festive touches, like the roasted peacock with its colorful plumage adorning the table as much as its meat. Tournaments were occasions not just of athletic prowess, but also of communal joy, with celebrations lasting for days. Even the humble arrival of spring was marked with merriment, with songs and games echoing in the great halls. But amid the gaiety, we also witnessed moments of sobering gravity. Banquets weren't just about pleasure, they were a stage for serious matters. Ambassadors arrived bearing not just gifts, but also messages of alliance or defiance. Kings made crucial decisions over the sharing of a meal. Negotiations that could shape the fate of kingdoms unfolded amidst the clink of glasses and the murmur of conversation. We saw how a single banquet could hold both revelry and intrigue, laughter and veiled threats. And when the time came for us to leave the bishop's table, we did so with a sense of bittersweet farewell. We had partaken in the joys and challenges, the solemnity and levity of medieval life at the court of a bishop. As the doors of the great hall closed behind us, we knew that our journey wasn't over, but another chapter had come to an end. And now, as the twilight deepens, let us take a final moment to reflect on the tapestry we've woven from the threads of medieval life. We've walked the silent cloisters, tracing the footsteps of monks dedicated to a life of solitude and prayer. We've marveled at the exquisite beauty of a decorated capital, seeing in its intricate carvings a reflection of the medieval worldview. We've navigated the enigmatic pages of the Voynich manuscript, recognizing the enduring power of mystery and the boundless curiosity of the human spirit. We've feasted in the grand halls of bishops, savoring the flavors of medieval cuisine and witnessing the intricate dance of power and diplomacy. Let us carry these experiences with us, allowing them to enrich our understanding of the past and inspire our own creativity and resilience. As the stars begin to glimmer in the darkening sky, know that our journey continues, not just in time, but in the stories we tell and the connections we make. Thank you for joining me on this adventure through time. Until next time, may your days be filled with the echoes of chanting monks, the scent of spiced wine, and the thrill of discovering the secrets that lie hidden in the annals of history. Welcome to this soothing space, where history whispers its secrets just beyond the edge of perception. Close your eyes if you'd like, and let the past wash over you like a summer rain. And so we return from our travels through the winding corridors of the medieval world. We began in the cloisters of the monastery stone walls, cold and unyielding, where life was shaped by silence, prayer, and the tolling of bells. A place where repetition was not wearisome, but holy. We then turned to Hildegard of Bingen, a woman whose visions and music filled those same stone halls with light. She showed us that, even within the quiet confines of the cloister, creativity and boldness could flourish. From there, we opened the mysterious Voynich manuscript, its pages filled with unknown words and strange images. A puzzle that has resisted centuries of efforts to solve, reminding us that not all knowledge is meant to be unlocked. And finally, we sat at the tables of bishops, where abundance and politics flowed as richly as the spiced wine in their cups. The stark contrast to the austere meals of monks showed us the two faces of the medieval church, humble discipline and worldly power. As we step back from these scenes, notice the threads that weave them together: silence and song, mystery and clarity. The medieval world was filled with contrasts, yet also bound by rhythms of bells, of seasons of faith. Now imagine yourself once more in the present moment. No stone walls, no dim candlelight, no echoes of chants. Instead, you are here, safe, warm, and at ease. The hardships of the past belong to history. Comforts of your own life, soft bedding, quiet surroundings, warmth at the touch of a switch are yours to enjoy. Let your breath fall into a slow, steady rhythm. Let the echoes of bells and distant voices fade, leaving only calm. History lingers like a dream, but now it is time to drift deeper, past the images of cloisters and manuscripts, into the stillness of sleep. I know that my audience is vast, scattered across the continents, bound by the common thread of an interest in history. But tonight I want to bring us closer still. I want to knit our disparate lives together with a shared experience, an experience that transcends the boundaries of geography, of time zones, and of schedules. I want us to travel together, not in body, but in spirit. So close your eyes if you wish, and let your thoughts become a ship sailing on the tranquil waters of memory. I will be your guide, and we will voyage together. Our first stop is a place of silence. Not a silence that is empty or stark, but one that thrums with the energy of countless whispered prayers. It is the cloister, a place where the rhythm of day and night is marked by the solemn toll of bells. Here, time seems to slow, to deepen, to become more resonant. Feel the coolness of the stone walls against your skin, the roughness of the mortar, the echo of your own footsteps in the high-vaulted ceiling. See the slender shafts of sunlight piercing the gloom, illuminating motes dancing in the stillness. Breathe in the scent of beeswax and old stone, of incense, and the faintest hint of wood smoke. Listen to the murmur of voices, hushed and reverent, engaged in prayer or study. This is a world ordered and disciplined, governed by routines both ancient and immutable. The rising and setting of the sun dictate the hours. The changing seasons shape the tasks. The toll of bells punctuates the day, summoning the faithful to prayer or marking the passing of time with solemn knell. In this sanctuary of silence, amidst the pillars and arches, amidst the fragrance of piety and the muted play of light and shadow, you are invited to pause. Not to rest, not to slumber, but to be fully present. To shed the weight of the outside world, of deadlines and decisions, of noise and distractions. Here, amidst the grandeur of stone and glass, there is solace. There is peace. But silence can be deceptive, for within its depths, stories unfold. And so, our journey takes us to the shadowy realm of medieval manuscripts. The parchment is brittle, the ink faded, but the images that leap from the page are as vivid as if they were drawn yesterday. Turn the page, and we find ourselves in the Garden of Paradise, in the very heart of creation. See the delicate tendrils of vines, the plump clusters of grapes, the vibrant hues of ripe berries. Feel the soft yielding of a leaf under your fingertips, the rough bark of an ancient tree. Breathe in the heady fragrance of blossoms, the sweet nectar of flowers. Listen to the gentle rustle of leaves in a summer breeze, the murmuring of a hidden stream, the distant hum of bees at their labor. Out! Paradise unfolds before your inner eye, not as a place of unattainable perfection, but as a reflection of the harmony that exists within creation. A harmony waiting to be rediscovered. Yet amidst this idyllic scene, there stirs a discord, a mystery that has resisted the passage of centuries. The Voynich manuscript, named for the book dealer who brought it to light in the 20th century, remains one of the greatest puzzles of the medieval world. Its origins, its language, its purpose all are shrouded in enigma. Can you decipher the strange script? Can you unravel the secrets held within these enigmatic illustrations? Or will some things, some mysteries, forever elude our grasp? As you ponder these questions, as you lose yourself in the labyrinthine paths of this manuscript, remember that the medieval world, like any other age, was not merely a place of toil and tribulation, but also of beauty and wonder, the juxtaposition of the familiar and the arcane, the mundane and the magical, is what gives history its richness, its depth, its intrigue. And as you stand here in the heart of this timeless world, you are reminded of the enduring power of the human spirit, its capacity to create, to dream, to explore, to leave its mark on the world. So let the medieval world envelop you, not just as a place of the past, but as a living, breathing tapestry of humanity. Embrace the silence, decipher the script, marvel at the art, for in doing so, you are connecting with the very essence of what it means to be human. Our final destination on this journey is a place of plenty. A banquet hall where the air is thick with the aroma of roasted meats and spiced wine. See the goblets piled high on the table, hear the murmur of conversation, the clash of dishes, the murmur of lute and harp. Feel the warmth of candlelight flickering on the faces around you, each etched with the stories of a life well lived, of battles fought and won, of journeys taken and knowledge acquired. The great hall echoes with the laughter of lords and ladies, the tales of daring deeds and courtly love, and at the center of it all is the bishop, his mitre heavy with gold, his robes rich with embroidery. He is both servant and leader, scholar and counselor, his wisdom sought after by kings and queens. But do not be fooled by the trappings of power. For beneath the finery lies a man of deep convictions, a man who has dedicated his life to the service of God and the betterment of his people. He is a builder of bridges, a healer of wounds, a beacon of light in times of darkness. As you partake in this feast, not just of food but of ideas, of stories, of fellowship, remember that the medieval world, far from being a monolithic entity, was a kaleidoscope of experiences. There were scholars and saints, yes, but also sinners and skeptics, builders and beggars, warriors and weavers. The medieval world was a stage where humanity played out its drama, its triumphs and tragedies, its hopes and fears. And while it may seem distant, even alien to our modern sensibilities, it is ultimately a story that is inextricably bound up with our own. For the medieval world was not merely a period of history, it was a crucible in which the modern world was forged. Its art and architecture, its literature and philosophy, its achievements and failures, all continue to resonate in the world we live in today. So as you feast, as you laugh, as you exchange tales with your fellow travelers, know that you are part of a continuum that stretches back over the centuries. You are part of the story that is still being written. Now, my friends, it is time to return. We have journeyed far and seen much. We've contemplated the depths of silence, deciphered cryptic manuscripts, and feasted with bishops under the glow of candlelight. The medieval world, with its blend of simplicity and complexity, its struggles and achievements, its faith and doubt, is a rich tapestry woven into the very fabric of our historical heritage. As we step out of this time portal and back into the familiar surroundings of our own time, let us carry with us the lessons and insights we have gained. Let us find inspiration in the quiet strength of those who sought solace in the midst of chaos. Let us marvel at the ingenuity and creativity that brought the Voynich manuscript to life. And let us recognize the complexities of the men and women who shaped the course of history, including the bishops whose lives were a blend of earthly power and spiritual devotion. The medieval world beckons us to understand it not as a distant relic of the past, but as a vital thread in the grand tapestry of human experience. It reminds us that amidst the grand narratives of empires and conquests, it is the quiet, the subtle, the seemingly insignificant moments that truly capture the essence of what it means to be human. So go forth, dear friends, and be the historians of our own time, seeking understanding, embracing complexity, and celebrating the richness of our shared human heritage. Until our paths cross again in the timeless realm of history, May your days be filled with discovery and your hearts with the echoes of the past. If you found this experience insightful or enjoyable, I invite you to show your support. Your engagement helps to ensure that our historical adventures continue to unfold. Together, we can keep the stories alive. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time.